Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Everton 1, Chelsea 0. We've got a win to talk about, but before we get in it, it's over to Baz.
Thanks to eToro for sponsoring Toffee TV. eToro sponsor a number of Premier League clubs, as you probably know by now. eToro recently did a survey with Premier League fans and found that 92% of Evertonians aren't enjoying football after lockdown, obviously without crowd being back there. During lockdown, 73% of Evertonians missed significant moments, they said, through things like tending to pets and answering the door. So they're not going to enjoy it, are they? Let's be honest. If you've ever wanted to start investing, but it's another one of those things that you haven't really had the time to do, with eToro's CopyTrader, you can do that automatically. And what happens is when their top traders make investments, you make the same investments automatically at no additional cost, meaning that you can invest while getting on with the rest of your life, doing other things that you've got time to do. If you're looking to begin investing, then be sure to use eToro. Use the link in the description to learn more. You go over, they'll explain how to do that, how to use the CopyTrader. So make sure click the link in the description and check it out if you're interested.
Nice one, Baz. Thanks for that. Get involved. Yes, a win. Something that I don't think either of us really expected from this game, just because of both teams' forms going into the game. But this is why we love football. This is why we love football. When you least expect it, good things happen.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea were 17 games unbeaten going into this, and Everton had one win in the previous 7, so it looked like a real tough game on paper. And obviously being without Luca Dean and Seamus Coleman and no James Rodriguez in the squad as well, that with the form meant it was always difficult. But we did say it, at home, you can beat anyone, Everton, and you've proven that over the years, and they've won this one. It's the 3rd year on the run we've beat Chelsea at Goodison, which is probably our best run against them for a while. But we knew it was going to be tough, and we knew we'd have to battle and scrap for everything if we were to get anything out of it, and that's exactly what we did.
Yeah, and fans were back.
Yeah,
1,999 plus me. We're back in the ground, and it's from my point of view, I thought it really helped the team. I thought it really gave them a lift. I mean, that might just be from a looking at it because it was there, and obviously we've got the win. But there did seem to be some kind of reaction. There did seem to be something to fight for because the fans were there, maybe not giving up on those little 50-50s that had been there, making 50-50, 60-40s in our favour. Those little things, I think, really showed the difference. That's what it felt like anyway while it was at the game. It felt like that. I'm not sure.
Felt like that from the telly, from
yeah.
airing the crowd.
I recorded BT just to see, and when I came in and had a little look at it, I was so surprised at how much BT mentioned the crowd and how much they kept on talking up the crowd and how much they made a difference. And just watching like the last sort of 5 minutes of the game and leading into the end of it with the punditry and how much they were really, because we'd seen games the week before with fans in the crowd and I'd seen little mentions of it, but they went really overboard about it. So it showed that they really felt like they, it didn't always feel like that at the game because you just take it for granted, and it was strange at first. It was quiet, you could hear all the players talking and stuff like that, and Jordan Pickford giving, shouting at everyone continuously and stuff like that. So I suppose when John Moss started getting his fat fingers into the game, that's when it really started to come to life. But I really felt like the players fed off that. And it is weird because people say it's only 2,000 people, but when it's 2,000 people in an empty stadium, the noise goes round really fast. So I thought it was great, and it's great that we've got that now for the next couple of games. We've got like 3 more games at home, haven't we, in this month? Wash your hands, wear masks. That's all I'm going to say. If there's ever a reason to keep Liverpool in Tier 2, it's that we're winning games of football. Because honestly, So yeah. So did it look and sound good from
It sounded, it was obviously looking at it on the telly, it's weird, isn't it, because you're spaced out and stuff, but it definitely come through the app, and it did make a difference watching it on the telly, like with the crowd. You've had the canned crowd, and I was always in favour of that anyway, rather than the silent, just hearing players shout, because that just screams Sunday League, and especially the quality of the Premier League, it definitely screams Sunday League. But with the crowd, it did add something, so it was good. You could see with some of the players, like, you know, early on, particularly early on when you've got to get into the game. You know, Godfrey, a great challenge on Reece James, and it looked like he got away from him. The crowd were up, and Alan winning a couple of battles, and then the next minute the crowd, and you could see them, like. And to them, you just got used to playing in quiet stadiums after, obviously, all the career playing with noise. So then to get 2,000 back, it made a big difference. And, you know, you heard Gylfi Sigurdsson after the game say the hairs on his neck stood up when he heard the crowd back and all that. And you could see the players that it definitely helped them. Whether it intimidated Chelsea, I don't think it intimidated Chelsea. I think it just gave the Everton players a little bit of a
I don't
boost.
think it intimidated Chelsea players, but I just think it gave the extra incentive maybe. And it's weird, isn't it? Because they're professionals and you don't expect them to that. But I suppose we all show off a little bit when we know there's eyes on us. Show off's maybe not the right word, but you know, you
put a bit extra in.
Feel that little bit extra. Feel like there's someone watching you, and I felt like
nowhere to hide, is there then? When there's no one in the stadium, you couldn't help, I guess, feel like it's a training game at times, regardless of whether you know it's a Premier League game. It's that thing of what, you know, some players need an edge, don't they? And with the crowd are there, there's nowhere for you to hide. You've got to run, and you know, probably worse, because you can probably hear everything people are saying.
They could.
Well, that's what I mean. When there's 40,000, it'll just be noise because people are saying different things. So in some respects, it might even be more difficult to play.
Yeah, it definitely looked like the players could definitely hear everything that was coming out of the Gladys Street. It was
It's good, isn't it? It's good. But it was but it was better, to be honest. It was better than what I thought. Come through the TV, really good. Like as if there was maybe 10,000. That's how it sounded on the telly, like you said. Being there, obviously yours will be a bit different, but it was good.
Enjoyed it.
Particularly the end as well. And I was surprised how loud it come through on the telly, singing song, you know, Everton and all that. It was like coming through brilliantly. So you could see that it did give the lads a lift.
No, it was really good. It was enjoyable. It was completely different, weird experience. Just round the ground and getting in.
It's just weird, just walking down, and it wasn't like that whole pub.
Yeah, it was dead airy, and obviously they were trying to keep it so it was just the people going the match, and the process of getting in the match was completely different, and then underneath there was nobody there, and you were asked to go upstairs as quickly as possible. And
could you go to the toilet and everything?
You go to the toilet, but there's nothing else open.
Nothing else was open.
They give us you could have bottles of water. They were giving out bottles of water for free.
Oh,
which was nice, and you could also take your own food and drink. So we took a flask.
Oh, okay.
It's like old school going to the match. You can take it. Yeah, you can take your own
That's
food.
good if they were giving water out, though.
And they were giving water out, and then you were asked to just. Seating was a bit weird because the where we were sitting, we were in the lower Gladys seats in GT2, and the numbers on all the seats were non-sequential. No, yeah.
There was just no numbers.
The numbers were like 44, 83. It was like bingo.
Right, no sheet, non-sequential.
Non-sequential.
I didn't know what sequential.
Sequential.
Easy for you to say, yeah.
Yeah. And they were all, so we're like, where are we sitting? So, yeah. So it was basically like, I think it was like, ended up being something like 5 in a row. And then the row in front, you would have no one in and no one in behind. Some strange decisions, I would say, when it comes to the seating, no. Like I seen a family, there was a family like about 4 rows in front or something like that. They were, or whatever, a bit more. And they were like 2 from the front. And it was 2 kids and their mum and dad. And they split them up. And it was like, what are you doing? Like, they're 2 kids.
That's mad, because families are supposed to just be able to sit together.
They were like, oh, you can't sit together. I was like, it's 2 kids and their mum and dad.
And they live
together. It's like, behave yourselves.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
I just thought it was a bit mad. Like,
but
apart from that, it was fine. But
the
team was pretty much as we called it last week, apart from Gylfi Sigurdsson in. We thought they might go for the 4-4-2, but it was more 4-4-3 in a way, with a little bit of variation. But he went for that back 4, which we both thought he would go for, getting back to basics, just trying to get some stability, get some structure back. What we'd call for, what we've been crying out for, what we were talking about last week about Tottenham and what they've been doing. And it really worked. Mason Holgate playing right back, Ben Chilwell playing left back, and it really
Ben Godfrey.
Ben
Chilwell was playing left back, but
yeah.
he was playing up against Mason Holgate. I think that's probably what you meant.
My brain is 2 steps ahead of my mouth.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Godfrey
playing left back, and they both did really, really well. Both really, really strong. Both really, both considered as well in their play. Weren't just, again, it's funny because where I was sitting, I wouldn't choose to sit where we were sitting because it was too low down for me. Yeah. I like to, a little bit of elevation so I can watch the game. But being that close to Mason Holgate in the first half and seeing him, when the ball's coming over to him, not panicking, taking a touch, doing something nice to get by himself a little bit of time, and then, trying to just get it down the line to Iwobi. And those little things were coming across. Weird when, you see these things all the time when you're at the match, but when you're laser focused on it,
and you haven't been for a while.
Yeah, so you're not getting caught up and everything else. And I thought they both did really, really well.
Oh, they were brilliant. To be fair, they were all brilliant at the back. The keeper, the 2 centre-backs were great, headed everything away. Mina done a brilliant job on Giroud. Giroud lost his focus in the game because Mina was into him, and Keane declared everything. And it was as we said, if you're looking at a back four, we knew Chelsea had a really good side, great squad, great players in that team. Lampard's done a good job. Won, like we said, they were unbeaten in 17 games. I think they'd won 5 Premier League games on the run away. So coming to Goodison, unbeaten away this year in the Premier League, it was always going to be a tough game. They're in the rhythm. They've got Werner, who's a great player on his day. Giroud's been in great form. You're looking at them and thinking, they've just got threats everywhere, haven't they? So for Everton to nullify it to a certain extent was really good. We knew they'd have a lot of the ball. But the fact with the back four and the way they sit with disciplined, you can do that. Everton could theoretically play that way most weeks and still be an attacking side. But what you need to do that is you need more from the lads in front of them then. What you had from these 4 lads was they all know how to defend. I thought Holgate was very good at right back, very comfortable on the ball, good, niggly, mouldy, and he upset Werner. And I thought Ben Godfrey he's ready to have it with anyone, but he's also so quick, isn't he? His sprinting ability is incredible. He doesn't half cover the ground quickly. So we had that from the wide areas. The 2 lads in the middle didn't venture up too far, but, he headed everything away. And that allowed Allen and Decore to get a grip at them. Maybe not get a grip, but it allowed them to compete better in the midfield. And I thought Sigurdsson was really good because he simplified everything and done things a bit quicker than he has been doing it. There was one early on where Iwobi does well on the right and plays it to Sigurdsson, and he just first time just pops it off to Richarlison into space, and it wasn't the greatest finish, but it was that kind of vision we were seeing a couple of seasons ago from him, where it's in that 10 role, if you like, but doing it quickly. Because what Everton did do was out of possession, we dropped into a 4-4-1-1. Iwobi and Richarlison dropped back and covered the full-backs, and Sigurdsson went and played as a split striker off Dom. And that's how we tried to cover the ground that way, knowing that they were going to have a lot of the ball. But it was a game plan, and it worked. And
the style was listen, with James Rodriguez out the side, it meant that there was going to probably be one extra person doing a bit more work, let's be honest. And it might have just been the game that James Rodriguez, we weren't going to miss him that much in terms of what we needed to do. What we needed a performance like that. Yeah. We needed to have 4 lads at the back that were the attitude was going to be, no one's going to get past us today. Seeing him with Godfrey, the amount of times they thought he'd beaten him, and he gets up to them and he's sliding in with his wrong foot, with his right foot, but obviously it's the wrong side when you're that. It was that kind of determination that was needed on the day. Iwobi just dropping in onto the right-hand side, Richarlison doing the hard work. Okay, he wasn't great going the other way, but he was doing the hard work. He was doing the... And the fact that Corey and Alan was so... they understood their job. Alan in the flesh was absolutely brilliant. Like, I don't know, I'm sure it came across on TV, but there's just little things, like the penalty incidents, which we'll come on to, with Richarlison. He was so actually important in those moments. He's clearly a leader within the squad already. There might be language barriers, but he's clearly a leader. And, you know, we need more of that definitely around the pitch. But I thought with Mason Holgate and Ben Godfrey, there was leadership there. Those two, we know what Mason's like. And Ben Godfrey's a little bit the same. You can see that as well. He's got a little bit of something about him. He's not going to be pushed around or you know, or whatever. And that makes up for maybe the lack of that in some other players. But you're right, the style was, don't let them get through. Shut the passing lanes down, make them go wide, and then deal with the crosses. And you're right, Mina and Keane did a great job on Giroud, and we dealt with all the drop downs as well. I think there was one a little bit early on where there was a little one that dropped, and it sort of fell right down to Pickford just by his feet. But I thought we dealt with all that brilliantly, and everyone just had to do the job, and everyone did do the job. And it's funny because you go back 12 months to Duncan's first game, the 3-1 win. It was very reminiscent of that, just in the style and everyone just being on the same page for the game.
All hands to the pump, wasn't it? I said on me Matt's reaction, it was reminded me of a David Moyes team performance of years ago when it was backs to the wall, let's battle and fight and scrap. And as I also said on it, I doubted whether this squad had that performance in them. I didn't know whether there was enough leaders, there was enough people that wanted to keep clean sheets. Well, those four at the back on Saturday didn't want to let it go, and the keeper didn't want to concede. No. You know, Pickford's made an absolute worldie of a save from Reece James because it deflected off Michael Keane or Yerry Mina, and it was the Corey, but it was a brilliant save. But it's that, it was needed. Now, do I want Everton to play like that 38 games this season? No, you'd want to see a bit more. But at the minute, it's about clinging onto people's coattails. You know, we're not playing well, so you've got to battle and scrap for everything. I still think that team could evolve and have more of the ball as you move forward. If you get that, if that was the defence, say, for the next couple of months while Luca Dean's out and got Seamus on the bench, but that was the back four with the keeper, Everton, I think, it'd be fine. You'd have to get the rest of it, you know, trust them, what's behind them and playing the way they can. But I think we'd cause people problem. You can change the other pieces. I think what's happened lately is the back four hasn't been settled right the way across. And that's caused the midfield to be a bit unsettled, which has left gaps, which means that the likes of Hammers hasn't been as instrumental, you know, and people have been, what's he doing? He's not doing this, he's not doing that. But with those four defenders, he would have to do less anyway, because they're four proper defenders. And I think I just thought we'd stuck to the task. They're a good side and we knew they were, but Alan and Decore just done enough in that midfield. They just made sure they were in a battle, you know, and it ended up with Kanté trying to get the ball and switch the play right and left because they couldn't get other players who were normally more instrumental into the game to cut through us because they were so busy in the middle. Yeah. And you're right, we funneled them wide and it was, right, let's try and make sure that we can deal with Giroud in the middle, and your two centre-backs are equipped for that. That's what their game is, standing on the edge of the box, netting things away and clearing it, and I thought he did that really well.
No, you're right about Kanté. Kanté had a lot of the ball because we almost allowed him to have a lot of the ball because we weren't allowing the person in front of him to have the ball, so we influenced the midfield. And you seen with how little Timo Werner and Kai Havertz had the ball, they weren't in effect. In fact, their best player was Reece James. You know, he was brilliant. I mean, he looks huge, absolute tank of a player.
He was excellent for them.
He was excellent for them, and that shows you the way we were making sure that their forward players couldn't get any room to manoeuvre, and it was superb from that point of view. But I mean, obviously, we got a goal, we got the penalty, which was the most important thing to separate the teams, because you can have, like we said before, I mean, I'd said as well, I just wanted a clean sheet out of this game, but you need that something extra, obviously, if you're going to win it. And again, it was the ability to go long, have that option to go long like we can, and Dom, is there any other centre forwards that can set themselves up like Dom can? It's incredible. Like, he wins the header and then follows it into the box and forces the keeper into taking him out. And I mentioned this on my aftermatch, but we were watching Dom in the warm-up, and the warm-up was right in front of us, the shooting practices. And there's something just so different about Dominic Calvert-Lewin now than there was the last time I physically saw him at a match. And even when we saw him last time, he was scoring goals. Last game we seen him, he scored against Man United. But the first thing I noticed in the warm-up is how he carries himself now. And it really is different. It really feels different. Like, I was watching him in the warm-up and he was bending them all top corner. Like, there was no, like, just making sure it goes in. They were doing shooting drills and he's just bending them top corner. Just bending them. And, everything's got something about it. And there's a real look of someone who believes now that he's a top striker. And the way he goes around in a game now, you feel that as well. And the penalty was just... every time he goes up in the air, he must feel like he's going to win it. And not only is he going to win it, but he's going to control...
His spring's incredible.
But he's going to control where also the ball... So that, when he wins it, it's obviously something they work on, that he not only he wins it, but there's no one around him. He's not flicking it onto him. It's not like when we used to sit and watch Duncan and go, well, what's the point in this? When we go long and he wins it, there almost doesn't have to be anyone around him because he knows where he's going to put it, and then he's got the pace as well to get there. And with the penalty, it showed, he wins it and then he gets it and the keeper takes him out, and everything feels like there's a purpose to it. And it was, honestly, it's just, and the one he didn't get in the second half, the other penalty, again, just manoeuvring his body into the way of defenders, brilliant, just brilliant.
Yeah, he's gone up a lot. I mean, I'm not convinced he's tried to set himself up for the first one, but he was onto it. He's won the header and he's that quick and he's looking all the time. He was onto it before, and he produces, brings Mendy into an area he doesn't really want to be in, makes him look a bit silly by getting there before him. He clatters him. It's a stonewall pen, probably the easiest penalty all season. And they had that fear about him, didn't they? None of their back four looked comfortable going for anything with him. Thiago Silva was looking around, a bit of a nightmare up against him because he's that good in the air. And he is, you look at him and he does, I look at him and he still doesn't hit the ball naturally, Dom. And what I mean by that is he doesn't, very rarely does he strike a ball with his laces. Everything's measured, so even you're saying there in a warm-up he's bending them in, well he does because that's how he shoots. He shoots by curling a ball. He doesn't hit through it like someone like Kane using the top of his laces. But you can look at him now as a centre forward. You see when he comes on and with the warm-up tops, and you just look at him and think, you can see that he believes he is the number one. He is the number one for us. He's carrying that mantle, and the fact a year ago we asked for the 9 because he wanted it a bit more than a year ago, and he took that on. Only now he is like a proper Everton number 9, and he's getting the goals and causing havoc now to go with it. And I think when you're playing as well as he is, confidence will be soaring, and the team looking to him now to be the spark. It shows you how much it's turned around. A year ago we'd look for Richarlison to be the spark. He was the spark. But at the minute, I've got more faith in Dom than I have in Richarlison to get us something. And it proved that way, like you say, he got the pen that was important, and he obviously got the pen in the second half, which he was offside, so it wasn't given, but that was it.
I mean, obviously the penalty, Richarlison looked like he wanted it, because obviously he took the last one, but Sigurdsson's the penalty taker, took it. Great pen, fantastic pen, a lot of pressure on him as well.
The no-look pen.
A lot of pressure on him, with a lot of people thinking he shouldn't start and be the captain and all the other stuff. But Richarlison for this one, again, wanted it. Alan came over and was just like, give us the ball, he's the penalty taker. I thought that was brilliant from Alan. And he did it in the second half as well, Alan. He came over and he was the one who came over and was just like almost like he's the, I don't know whether it is or you don't know what goes on in the training, but there was straight away, it was like, no, he's the penalty taker. That's it. You're not the penalty taker. And you could see that whether it, that little bit of leadership, but I was disappointed in Richarlison with that. I was disappointed in more in the second half. I think he wanted the first one because he probably thought he was still a penalty taker, but he's not. Sigurdsson is. But I was disappointed in the second half with him because the second one, it was almost like Sigurdsson was like, yeah, well, someone else can take it, and he was going to give it to Dom. And then Richarlison was just got this super cob on. And it needed Alan to come over, and then he's going over to the bench, and he's going he's like a little kid, going, I'm on this. And Carlo Ancelotti's just looking at him like, what are you doing? And Alan's like, and and then in the end it happens not a pen, so it ends up being this drama for no reason. And afterwards he's still carrying on, he's still going over to the bench, going that should have been me on that penalty, and you're like. The people in the Gladys seat are just shouting at him, going, what are you doing? And you could probably hear all of them as well. Like, get on with the game. And it affected them for 5-10 minutes after it. Didn't have to happen. And I know the lad's dying for a goal. You can tell he's dying to score a goal. But you don't need to do stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that turns fans off you and then erodes the belief in you, and you're fighting then on two fronts. You're fighting to convince your own fans, and you're fighting to convince everyone else who's trying to slag you off. And it was it really annoyed me because he shouldn't be doing it. He should be showing a little bit more professionalism.
Totally unnecessary. The Sigurdsson was chosen as the penalty taker, whether people want Richarlison on them or not, or Sigurdsson or Dom. The manager's chosen who's taking the pen, and Sigurdsson was on it. So for the first one, asking, and if Sigurdsson's like, well, I'm on it, you've got to give him it, so Alan does it. The second one, he put his head on Sigurdsson, which I thought was embarrassing. You do, it's your teammate, you're winning, you've got a penalty, and he's putting his head in his face. That's being, are you pushing? Absolutely, I was disgusted with him, because there's just no need for that. I know you want to score, well, go and actually kick, when you're through, kick the ball at the goal, instead of back passing it. Sulking around then as well. Not good enough, for such a good player and such a key player for us. We don't need that. If Sigurdsson, we get the pen, you go up by all means and go, are you all right having this one as well? Because, listen, people will do it in footy. You'll see games where the penalty taker, when he scored the first penalty, doesn't really happen to Everton very often because we don't get penalties very often. But if you get two in a game, sometimes the penalty taker will go, you have it then, we'll mix it up. So you can say to him, are you all right having it? And if he goes, no, I'm all right, you walk away. You don't put your head in someone's face. And not Sigurdsson, who, I don't think he's the most aggressive man, is he? So, but Alan, you're right, Alan sorted it out. But Richie's got to just get on with your game. Do the things that everyone loves you for. Do the things that have made you a key player for Everton Football Club. No.
I think he was a bit frustrated anyway because he hadn't got much change out of Reece James in the game. No. He had a couple of chances. He had a great chance he had one in the first half that like you said, he back passed, and he had one in the second half that the goalkeeper pushed wide.
Yeah, it was a decent save.
I think he was frustrated with his. Not only I think what it was Reece James was but also I think the fact that there was never anyone overlapping him, which is not going to happen when it's Ben Godfrey, is it? You don't want it to happen. But it was just after 10 minutes afterwards, just when his feet suddenly go that way. Just noticed that, and he's like,
he just looks like
he looks like
he's like a teenager.
He is, and he was just and they kept on going like that to the bench, and I was like, it's gone.
You got to play for the team. You can't play for yourself.
But Alan was brilliant, honestly. But Alan was brilliant in those moments. Alan just going over, going no. And that's important, I think, because that's someone he probably looks up to, especially in the Brazilian national team. And he's took the side of the team over his mate. And but I think those things are really important.
He put a tweet out yesterday, and I don't know whether, I'm hoping it was about him and not someone ripping him, because he'd put something like good morning from the crybaby or something. So I'm hoping that he's saying I hope he's acknowledging that he was out of order. And if he is, sound, we move on. Some people
walk off the pitch and the minute they walk off, they become different people, or they know straight away, or whatever. And there's obviously a certain tolerance to him, because of that. Because I thought he was going to get taken off, because you could see him. He was going down and he couldn't really be bothered and he wasn't getting back, and I thought they're going to take him off here and it's going to be drama. He's going to go off for John Joe Kenny and there's going to be like, or Tom Davis, and there's going to be like a little bit of drama. But the manager obviously thinks, well, no, he needs to stay on the pitch because he's always got something in him. So there's obviously like that little bit of tolerance. They know he's a little bit, and some players you have that, don't you? Sometimes some players you just have that thing where it's like they know the personality of the player, so therefore they know sometimes there are going to be those moments of not necessarily petulance, just childishness, like you said.
But we had this with Morales and Baines, and
no, I know we did. But
Morales got it, missed it. But we didn't win the game, and it soured them.
No, I know, I appreciate. No, I know, but Morales, I think there was a general almost feeling with him, wasn't it? I think with Richarlison, these moments just creep in when he's not on it. You know, when he's not necessarily. I don't think that's his character all the time. I think it's just when he's not on it that becomes part of him, and again it might just be, and that might be where someone has to get hold of him, like Alan, and go, if you want to be a top player, you've got to get rid of that. You've got to get rid of that. If things are not going for you, you can't just sulk. You've got to get on with the game because you're never going to be a good player, never going to be a top player.
I almost feel like it's important for him to keep scoring because of the Brazil thing. Do you know what I mean? Well, I think he wants goals so that because he's fearful of his place in the Brazil side. That's what I think.
I think it's just, I mean, it is what it is. He wants to score goals, and I appreciate that. I want him to score goals. When it's not going for you, you just do the other side. I think, which he normally does. It's just like in this game, it just wound me up a little bit. But you know, second half, listen, they had a lot of the ball. We've ended up with 28% possession, which is the lowest for an Everton team that have won, I think it is, or something like that. Anyway. But it never felt. They never looked like they were going to score, apart from the set pieces.
Yeah, they had. Reece James had one in the first half, which Pickford.
Great save.
It was a good save, but he'd done that thing and made it hard for himself. As he's taking it, he steps the wrong way.
Oh, the free kick.
The free kick.
Oh, yeah, the free kick.
He took a step and then goes back, but it was a good save.
The shot though from
the one from Reece James was an incredible save. How he got there because it hit the core right. But it should have been a foul. It was a push.
There was loads.
Referee was a joke,
there was loads of little things.
It was it was a really, really important save.
It was from the corner, from the free kick, and it wasn't long after we'd scored.
Yeah, so it was a crucial save that, and then obviously in the second half they hit the post, haven't he, as well, from Mason Mount free kick, which again he took a step the wrong way, but in general he was very good. He was assured with what he was doing. His handling was quite good. So it was important, but you're right, although they had a lot of the ball, they had one where really the only time they got across to anywhere near Giroud, and he flashed one over the bar, went miles over the bar. It was the only one really. Zuma had one in the first half, which was a back pass, wasn't it, off a corner. He caught it. Pickford was in the right position. But they will be disappointed with what they created, but I think Everton just defended really well. Holgate put a tackle in on Timo Werner and he didn't really like it, and Holgate went back to him and was like, what? And Werner just put his head down, and it's like, I know he's not there for that, but that's what Holgate will bring you. It's that engaging you in a game, mind games.
There was an intimidation from our players as well, you could see it.
That's great Chelsea sides at that, didn't it?
That's what you want, but that's what you want from your players, isn't it? You want that level. We've been calling for it. Where's the intensity? There was a real desire to defend in this game. There was a real desire to keep a clean sheet. You could see that, and you could see, and Holgate hasn't been at his best, and he's come in and done a good job at right back. Even at the end, galloping up the pitch, taking the pressure off. I mean, really, he should have just smashed it into the...
He should have, yeah. I don't know what he was looking, no one was around.
No, he should have smashed it into the Bullens, right? Got it, give them a throw right in the corner. He's been dispossessed, but he gets us up the pitch. Again, there's no real drama. No. Tom Davis comes on and he catches a couple at the back post. John Joe comes in on left wing, and he's, him and Andre Gomez.
John Joe Kenny finished the game with 100% pass completion.
But like that,
there was only 4 passes.
Him and Andre Gomez are, keeping the ball, being intelligent.
Everyone to the cause.
Exactly, that's what it was like. Everyone was just wanted to get us through the game. There was a real desire, and sometimes that happens when you flip it, and it's like it goes from a game where you're like Burnley and everyone's like putting the pressure on you to go out and win the game, to suddenly where it's flipped the other way, where everyone expects you to lose, and you're going to be defending. And there are times when you you look at a situation, you go, well, all right, it's fine that we haven't got James Rodriguez tonight because we need to just defend for our, not for our life, but we have to, and you have to defend for your lives, but it's about finding that balance, isn't it? Like, I watched Tottenham yesterday, and I know last week I was raving about Tottenham, the way they were defending, but I watched them yesterday against Crystal Palace, and they went 1-0 up in similar fashion, and then they sat back, and it was like, what are you doing? So suddenly it gone from being 1 week where they're against Arsenal have loads of the ball and they're defending well, to the next week where they're winning 1-0, but they're playing Crystal Palace away. Go and win the game. And they didn't. They sat back and they ended up drawing the game because Palace put the pressure on. So sometimes you've got to find that balance. The thing for us is the next few games are all going to be like this. So it actually benefits, benefits us in the next few games of going in knowing that if we keep the same back four, and we just keep playing that, and it's all about defending and seeing. And maybe it'll be a case of get James Rodriguez in for the game because you need to open them up, and so it's for me it's a case of just keeping it as it is for the next few weeks and just trying to scrap and get points with so many games in quick succession.
Well, it's what Leicester, Arsenal, United,
Sheffield United,
Man City. So 4 out of the next 5 teams are big clubs, aren't they? Couple of them doing well, couple of them not doing so well. And then obviously Sheffield United are struggling. That'll be a tough game anyway, though, Bramall Lane, because they are struggling. So it is a case of just, this is a tough period and a busy period. So I'm happy just to get points on the board. I'm not bothered about performances at the moment. It's about scrapping and battling and get through, and then see if we can add a couple in January. Obviously get people back, Seamus Coleman, James back in the squad, even if they're only on the bench, get them back in the squad, and things start looking better than what it did do. And like I said to you before, I didn't think we had this performance in us, and if you can get a performance like this, it can really help you as you move forward. Just in the game, obviously, the stats from the game. We're there, what are they?
9 shots to 10, 4 on target to their 3, which is mad. Big chances, 1 each. We took ours. 162 completed passes to 539, 28% possession to 72. But at the end of the day, we had, the attacking stats are more important. We've had the same as they have, and possession means nothing. You don't do anything with it.
And then I put this up just to reiterate how well these lads did. Michael Keane there, passing accuracy 79%, 10 clearances, header clearances 4 out of 4, 1 ball recovery and 2 interceptions. And his partner, Yerry Mina, passing accuracy 86%, 5 out of 5 clearances, 4 out of 4 header clearances, 6 ball recoveries and 3 interceptions. So just showed that then too, who a lot of people have said can't play together. And probably in an ideal world, when you're chasing games, they wouldn't be your perfect partnership because we can't play high up the pitch. In these kind of games where you're sitting on the edge of your box, they're ideal for it because with no space in behind you, and particularly against a striker like Giroud, he was never going to spin and run in behind you. But we did have to be wary of Timo Werner. So, the 4 defenders, I think, they complemented each other really well, all with that common desire to keep the clean sheet. And obviously there was only one real hairy moment in the first half where Pickford slipped, then kicked it, and it looked like he'd pulled his groin.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
For a few minutes, he was a little bit all over the place.
And the other one was the second half when he came out and they lobbed him. And just for that one little moment, I was just like, oh, because... It
was weird that though, because I feel like he had to come for it, but he got nowhere near it. And then when you see him get nowhere near
it was just a hairy moment.
But other than that, we did defend quite well. And you've got to play it to a team that's lost for 17 games and playing well. You need a little bit of the rub of the green, and you have to battle to beat them. We're not at that level. We know where Chelsea won the league 4 seasons ago. They're a good side, or 5 seasons ago, whatever it was. They've still got great players, and they've bought really well. So they're further along than we are by far, and we've just got to battle.
The irony of the whole thing is that we're 5 points off the top of the league. Which is just incredible.
Well, we're 2 points off them, and they've had 17 games without losing.
After 12 games, nearly a third of the season gone.
We'd have all took that, wouldn't we?
Exactly. It's
a mad league, isn't it?
It is. Well, I think it's just with everything that's happened, you know, with the empty stadium. It's going to be interesting. But I mean, what's funny is we might be only one of the places left, because London look like they're going to go into Tier 3, so it might only be us in Southampton, I think. We're the only two cities that it might be. So keep washing your hands and keep, if you want to go to the match, dead simple. Yeah. You know what I mean? No, it was great. It was great to be back. I'm going to take a for Saturday. Baz hasn't got one either, so, you know, that puts the rumours to bed.
Yeah.
Although, you know...
Listen, the 2000 they go Saturday, if they'd make the same noise as what?
Yeah, if you don't like, then...
if they make the same noise again, then it'll...
I think they will, because
it'll be excellent.
People will appreciate being there. I think that's the thing. In fact, being there, it was like, we're not going to do this for a while. Oh, no. It was like, that's what it felt like.
That's like your thing,
It felt like, you know, just made up to get a victory out of it, be there and experience a victory, but it just really, it just made me want football back so much, like real football, because I honestly just don't consider what we've been watching real football. I just don't, because it's not, like we said when we started the show, that little bit extra, those players putting that little bit extra in, you could see it. It's not an audience. Football fans aren't an audience. They take part in the game. They affect the game. Seen with Crystal Palace yesterday.
We're one of the... Palace is another one. There's some clubs that it absolutely makes the difference. Especially if you haven't got top of the range play, like top level players. You need every little advantage, and Everton are one of the teams that Goodison wins us so many. We've had good home records when we haven't got great teams because of our crowd. Yeah. So the 2000 they were lucky enough to be there Saturday, and then the 2000 they go against United. Just back them, and you never look what we've seen. We've seen a win again, an unlikely win, I think. Not saying we didn't deserve it for the way we played, but an unlikely win as we've got to win, and they played the part at 2000. So
yeah. 3 points. Typical Everton though, innit? We don't have a whole week to rejoice in it. We've got another game.
Maybe we're going to win it Leicester
on Wednesday. So there you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on the game discussed. If you want to watch this video live and have a little bit extra where you get involved with the comments, then join us on Patreon. There'll be a link down there, just down there as well. There you go. Thanks for watching. Give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you later.